Thank you for having me. It's good to be with you.
You know, many strategic questions that we will get to shortly. I can't not ask firstly about what heartbroken Israelis found deeply heartwarming yesterday. You on CNN talking about the atrocities perpetrated by Hamas against Israeli citizens and really struggling to speak. Being even emotional. I have to say Israelis are not used to American admirals feeling emotional when talking about them. Can you talk me through what happened?
I'd been doing a lot of TV interviews yesterday, all about the policy and the attack itself. Mr. Tapper at the end of this interview conjured up the images that I had seen that unfortunately so many people around the world have had to look at. And it was the first time in the day where I had a moment, see, to just think about those images and the families that are directly impacted by the violence and the barbarity of Hamas and the specific ways in which they have just trashed human life in any respect whatsoever for it. It's really off the charts in terms of depravity, and it just kind of came home, and I'm not proud that I lost my composure. I try never to do that, but in that moment, I just couldn't stop thinking about the innocent Israeli lives that have now been just shattered. And it's not just the ones that have been killed, it's the ones that have been wounded, and it's the family members of those who don't know the status of their loved ones. And I'm a father, I am a son, I'm a grandfather. I think there's a human connection here that just should not be forgotten, and I guess it just all came crashing down on me in that one moment, and I did lose my professional composure.
It was for us very heartwarming. You talk about seeing the pictures and the pictures that the whole world has been seeing. Can you tell us if the president himself also saw these pictures?
The president has been kept up to date on what's been going on, and he has seen these images as well. And as a man who loves and respects Israel, the nation, and Israel, the people, it is absolutely having an impact and an effect on him as well. He's shocked, he's saddened, he feels the same sense of anger that he knows so many Israelis feel when it comes to the barbarity of Hamas, and that's why he has made it clear he's going to be talking to Prime Minister Netanyahu today. It will be his third conversation since these attacks, and making it clear to the Prime Minister that the United States will have Israel's back.
And let's talk about having our back. The fact that the USS aircraft and its accompanying warships have been directed to the Eastern Mediterranean. A show of deterrence, or does it also have an operational dimension?
Well, look, anytime you deploy an aircraft carrier and its strike group, there's an operational capability that is available to policymakers and certainly to the commander-in-chief. It's a very potent military force, no question about that. But the main reason we're doing it is really for reassurance to the Israeli people, to our allies and partners in the region, but also one of deterrence. As you heard the president say, and I think you'll hear him say again today, nobody, no actor, no terrorist group, no nation state in the region ought to look at what's going on as a result of these Hamas attacks and try to take advantage of it. And it's a very clear signal that the United States takes seriously our national security interests, and we mean business by that.
I guess what I'm asking is if a northern front opens up, if war becomes more escalated, will the U.S. be involved actively?
I can tell you there's no intention to put U.S. boots on the ground in this conflict. I don't want to hypothesize about what might happen. Obviously, nobody wants to see a northern front open up. I know Israeli officials feel the same way. I don't want to speculate about future military operations one way or the other. I would just say, again, no intention to put U.S. boots on the ground in this conflict, but we obviously take our national security interests very, very seriously, and the president will never hesitate, as commander-in-chief, to make decisions to protect and defend those interests.
Tragically, also, dozens of Israeli citizens held, abducted by Hamas. How are you assisting Israel in trying to ensure their safe return home?
We have talked to the Israelis about hostage recovery expertise that we have here in the United States, and we understand the Israelis certainly have a capability in that regard as well. But we do in law enforcement here in the United States, in the intelligence community, even in the military. Well, we've got some expertise that we have been talking to the Israelis about whether it would be useful for them if we shared that expertise with them. We don't know whether any Americans are in that group of people held hostage, but we agree that there are many that are, and that there's a lot of families out there from many different nations who are worried about whether their loved ones are in that pool of hostages. And nothing is more important to President Biden than making sure we look after the safety and security of Americans overseas. And so we will continue to work with the Israelis on this hostage recovery crisis and do whatever we can do whatever is appropriate to do to help them as they work their way through those kinds of decisions.
John Kirby, National Security Council Coordinator for Strategic Communications. Thank you again so much for talking to us today, John. Thank you for your time.
It's good to be with you, and obviously we continue to our thoughts and prayers continue to be with all the families and all the people of Israel.